Hey, good afternoon. It's Lisa here from, I'd like to say it was sunny Hastings. It was relatively sunny on a Saturday afternoon. And this is part two of the two-part video series for busy interims and professionals. Predominantly those of you folks that are working away from home on contracts, although, of course, if you're working on a contract, even working from home, you have those long hours, that sort of full-on approach when you go in somewhere and are expected to make a difference immediately. So this is part two of the two-part series for you guys on exercise. So part one was on food and nutrition and trying to maintain some sort of balance, how you could manage that. And part two is about fitting in exercise into your busy work schedules. So just as a reminder, this is a subject that's pretty dear to my heart because for many years I was an interim project programme manager, predominantly in local government, working very long hours on contract, quite often working away from home, living in hotels. And what people tell me and what I experience myself is it's really, really difficult to find any sort of routine that you can follow. Part of the week you're away, part of the week you're home, or as I say, with these very extended hours, it's difficult to fit everything in. So part two, I wanted to look at exercise, and I think people believe with exercise that it's quite an onerous task and you have to spend hours on the treadmill or on the cross trainer or pumping iron, lifting weights to get decent results. And it's a bit of a misconception. So what I wanted to talk about was how you can fit in exercise relatively easily by a method which is called HIIT, high intensity interval training. Now that might sound quite scary, intensity, but the point about HIIT is that you go at your maximum effort. So if your maximum effort is a snail's pace, so be it, so long as you're working as hard as you possibly can. And it might surprise you to know that if you do, say, 30-minute sessions a week, you can have some great results by doing HIIT. And people find that quite difficult to believe, but I think we could all find 30 minutes 3 times a week where we could put some effort and dedication into doing some exercise. And what I would suggest is if you can get a timer on your telephone, so you can actually do something like 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest, and go for about 20 minutes full out. And that gives you then time to warm up. Always start with a warm up and then cool down and stretch. It's really, really important to get the joints moving, mobilise your joints, sort of circle your hands and your ankles, roll your shoulders, a bit of jogging, light jogging on the spot, some star jumps, something like that, just to get your heart rate up, get warm, get going before you start. And then I would suggest doing something like picking some exercises where you are working lots of muscle, lots of joints, which are called compound exercises. So big muscle exercises, things like squats, lunges, press ups, burpees, what else? Sprints, high knees on the spot, where you run fast as you can. Think Usain Bolt running on the spot. Crunches potentially, or plank. It's probably a little bit better than crunches. Star jumps, anything like this. There's whatever you pick, and I would just sort of focus on maybe four or five exercises and work really, really hard. 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest, and keep just going through those exercises. You can do as much or as little that you can fit in. You could do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Equally, if you can get to a gym, you can do the same thing on a treadmill, cross trainer, rower, work really, really hard, flat out, 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest, keep going for about 20 minutes. And this form of training is proven to give great benefits for fat loss. Also, if you're doing the body weight stuff in your hotel room, It's great because you're working your muscles, so you're kind of like keeping some muscle tone and muscle definition. So it's quite, I think we could all, as I say, commit to saying, right, I could do 3 times 30 minutes a week. And in the hotel room, you don't need a lot of space. You need enough space, which is kind of like the length of your body. I used to do interval training in my room in the travel lodge. And let's face it, you don't get a lot of room in the travel lodge. So you can really fit that in. And you can just do whatever you're comfortable doing, working as hard as you can. So you can pick a range of exercises. Do Google them if you're not quite sure how you should do them. Loads of things on YouTube that shows you correct technique, which is really important. So that's one thing that I think, as I say, we could all fit in. And the other thing, which is really, I believe, totally underestimated, is walking. I got myself a Fitbit in my last role, my last contract, and I really made myself walk 10,000 steps a day. And then, of course, all the Fitbit fans in the office were all challenging you to these daily challenges and what have you. And 10,000 steps a day is not always that easy to get to, but it does make you think about it when you've got your Fitbit on your wrist and it's bleeping at you if you haven't got up in the last hour and walked for 200 steps, which could be going to get a glass of water and back or whatever. And again, it's something that we can all kind of like squeeze a little bit more walking in. We don't do enough of it. So those are the two things that I would say. The other thing I would say is if you are a gym goer and you're struggling to get to the gym, you say, well, I can only go once a week when I'm away in the week and once at the weekend because when I'm back at home, I really don't want to be going out. Twice a week is fine. I would look at doing full body weight circuits and then perhaps fitting in one of these half an hour HIIT, high intensity interval training sessions a week. So I wouldn't swap it. I would just perhaps look at the type of training that you are doing. Speak to somebody in the gym, say I want a full body weight circuit. So if you're using your whole body, upper lower body, a couple of times a week would be the best routine, the best effort for that. So there's part 2. That's all I want to say. I would like to offer you something because I'm kind of generous like that. So if you would like a copy of one of my workouts that I used to do in my hotel room, one of my sort of 20, 25-minute workouts, I would like to give you that, a freebie. I'm very happy to share something with you to get you started. So please feel free to just email me back, lisa@lasfitnesshastings.co.uk. or find me on Facebook, lisa.ali.520. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, or /520. And send me a private message and I will share with you one of my 30-minute workouts, HIIT workouts that you could use a couple of times a week. 3 times a week would be brilliant. Even if you do twice a week is better than nothing a week. So it's just that building up. Finally, one thing I wanted to say that I wanted to share with you, a lot of folks aren't actually aware of this. When on my last 2 contracts, I actually rented a room. I found there are quite a few websites, mondaytofriday.com, rentaroom.com, where you can rent a room in somebody's house. I found both of the places that I had were with my own ensuite, which was my big thing. I didn't want to share a bathroom with anyone. But what that did give me was cooking facilities and the ability to have a bit more space to do exercise if I couldn't get to the gym, but to cook an evening meal. And a lot of people just don't realise that this is out there. So I wanted to share that with you guys, just to say that, if you're on a long-term contract, you're out somewhere where you're going to be in it for sort of a year or something like that, and you feel, I just don't want to be staying in the hotel 4 nights a week. There are a lot of places out there, quite locally as well, to wherever you are, and it's a lot cheaper and it gives a lot more flexibility. You can leave stuff in your room and you don't have to be packing up and unpacking. So it was just a little something that I thought I'd share with you extra, which you might find useful, you might not find useful. So that's just one of my things that I did, and it really helped me managing my health and fitness and my weight to be able to have that facility. So that's me done, 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Please, please, please do let me know how you get on. I would really appreciate some feedback. It's always really useful in all the work that I do to hear from folks who tell me how they're getting on. And don't forget, if you want a free copy of one of my very workouts that I did myself, just give me a shout and I'll get something over to you. Thanks a lot. Take care. Speak soon. Bye.